Before we get started, remember it's always a pleasure. It's always an honor to come before you on behalf of the master teacher, the one and only, Pana Babyanun, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York. Despite all the slander, all the hate, despite all the lies, the conspirators tried their best, but it ain't working, and it's not going to work because Baba's going to come home, and we're all looking forward to that. So keep your chant up, keep the meditation up, keep the visualization up until we get Pops home, all right? Okay, for those who are new, remember you can call in live. The live number will be in the chat, and we'll give it to you throughout the live, so you can actually call in and ask your question live, all right? Remember to share the room. All right, let's see who's in already. We're going to wait for more people to join before we get into the questions, the Q&A. Kimberly, Rahubat, this knowledge has a calming effect on my mind. I really can't describe it. That's because it's the truth. We have a live caller already. All right, let's get into it. Rahubat caller, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question for today?
My name is Kerith Muir from Jamaica.
Rahubat Jamal.
Okay, so my question is, well, I don't want this to sound like a strange question, but I've been thinking about it a lot. So one of the times when I was asking you a question, you were saying that it was possible to receive back your barathri gland.
Sure.
And so you made it sound like there are beings or entities that are going to give us back our barathri gland. So who specifically are those beings that will be helping us to receive our barathri gland back and basically give us a DNA upgrade? Who are the beings that are going to do that for us?
Okay, again, remember with Wu-Sabat, when you speak like us, we have to be very clear on who we're talking about when we say us. And we have to make sure that the listeners also know what we're talking about when we say barathri gland, okay? I said it would be reactivated or reinserted. And that's because it was surgically removed. And when you to answer your question, you have to be worthy first of all. Like everybody would like to have it because of the capabilities and the powers that you receive once you get it. However, that power comes with great responsibility. And before you even make the grade, for lack of a better word, to get it, you should be focusing on what you need to do to get it. And what you would need to do is to first of all apply Wu-Sabat. And when you apply Wu-Sabat, it means that you're actually living it. And that involves you changing your total mentality, your mental state, because your mind is what governs your actions and what you do. So, of course, the master teacher, Pana Babyanun, doesn't leave any stones unturned. So he actually gives you the formula or the medicine, if you like, to do that. So this scroll called the mind, you have to first of all take that in, because the mind will make you think properly, and then you can start to act properly. Page 30 of this. Okay, cool. So what I'm saying is you have to start thinking correctly, and that means like we've been dumbed down. A lot of people have been basically bamboozled, meaning that they've given you falsehood for truth, lies instead of truth, and a lot of people don't really know what's been going on, like for the last 6,000 years. And so the first thing is that we have to give you the information, the right knowledge, which gives you the right wisdom, and then on your way to right overstanding, and then using the mind, you start to basically do what we call right sound right reasoning. Okay. And so that's what the sound right reason is, when your mind is right. But if you look at if you have this book, classic again, Man from Planet Risk, you hear a lot of people talking about this scroll. And if you go to page 30, right, it explains about what the barathri gland is, how it was removed, and what the power that you get. So the highest senses that you get from having your barathri replaced is the telepathy, clairvoyance, intuition, psychometry. Right? And it says these are higher senses. These higher senses are what connected you or enabled you to communicate to the, it says here Elohim, but we know that this book was published a long time ago. But what we're really talking about, connecting you back to the overseers and the beings that exist on higher dimension and higher realms. And the whole process of getting to that stage is to start from the lowest first, which is when you look at what people call the chakras. The chakra is a Hindu word, but really what we're saying is that you have to activate these glands and overcome the lowest one, which is the desires and the things that are holding you by way of like lust, by way of physical desires. And when you activate that one, i.e., you take control of your carnal desires, then you go upwards and you start to activate all of them until you get to, most people show you 7, because they didn't know until we, by way of Partner Babylon, started to explain that we, being 9 ether beings, we have another extra 2 that are outside of your physical body. So the 7th one being the one that a lot of people know about, the pineal gland, which works with the pituitary gland. That's when you're activated to open up and have a more your when it's not calcified, meaning that it's open for you to receive more information. Okay. But as Nagaru, we have 8 and 9, which are above or outside of your head or your physical body, but they're all a part of you, because these 9 seats are connected to the 9 realms, or the 9 different, people get confused between when we say realms and we say dimensions and we say planes. All right. So let me try and clarify that. So you have realms, and within those realms, you have different states of vibration. Okay. And this would be termed like planes, in the sense that I've used this example many times. You can have a color, but you can have millions of that same color, or variations of that same color. So when you look at the chakra systems, or you look at anything to do with vibrations and frequencies, such as the electromagnetic spectrum, or even the visible light spectrum, even colors, when you use the primary colors to make other colors, you're able to see there's a range. And it normally starts from red, because red is dealing with the kind of lower vibrations of the carnal desires, all the way up to when you start to get to the higher vibration. So things like yellow will be intellect, white is very spiritual, blue is spiritual, until you get to what we call, what you see as violet or purple, even when you look at the rainbow, right? So you go from the lowest to the highest, and then beyond that to what we call darkness or supreme balancement, or what we call triple darkness. So going back to your original question, it's not just as simple as, oh, we're just going to get our barathri gland. There's work to be done where you have to turn yourself inside out, raise your vibrations, change the way you think, start to put Wu-Sabat into action. And then once you're deemed to be worthy, the elders will then reinsert it or reactivate it if it's already there. And because we know that it's there, because even though it was removed, they had to take care not to damage the nerve endings. So parts of it are still there. This is why people who want to like experience having the esoteric or the higher vibrations, some people will take drugs. Some people like take all kinds of intoxicants and try to induce it, but it would only last for so long. But when you get the barathri gland, it will actually be permanent and gives you full access to use the power of your brain. So most people use less than 10%, and when you have full access to it, you start to even use what people know or call junk DNA. So there is a lot to it, and the word bara, obviously, the word Genesis, right, in the Bible, is the original word in the Hebrew will be barashith. You can hear the word bara and bara, which means like to reconstruct or to replenish or to start again. And so yeah, when the barathri gland is replaced, it will be replaced by the elders. The master teacher partner Babyanun is one of those elders. He is the keeper of the list or the records of who will be on that list. And it's not just about, it's not just about lip service. It's actually about you transforming yourself and doing the work. So it says on page, if I just read from the last paragraph on page 30 and onto 31, it says, the word bara, which means beginning of a thing or to bring about to a new, all right? It was removed from the hippocampus area, which is located in the cerebellum region of your brain. The barathri gland worked with the appendix and the tonsils. The removal of the barathri gland cut off your four higher senses: telepathy, clairvoyance, intuition, and psychometry. Then it says the hippocampus, whose purpose is not well known to modern science, is the tissue which held the barathri gland when it was once inside the brain. Then there's a question. Yanun, when did you come here? Or that kind of goes into another section, but it says, I, Yanun, came once on Tuesday 12th, midnight, 26th of June, 1945 AD, to see which human seed I would be planted in and to reinsert the barathri gland in the child, right? And it shows the diagram of the submental area, which is here. Sub deals with underneath because originally it was up there, but now it's going to be placed in the submental region, and then that reacts, or that which works with the brain. Right, so it goes on to say the weather filled with an overcast of clouds and rain was a perfect cover for our mission. We did not reinsert his barathri gland in the hippocampus area of the brain this time, but in the lower part of the chin, referred to as the submental area, meaning the sub or lower, and mental, that which reacts with the mind. Yeah. I could go on,
Yeah.
but you really need to get hold of this scroll called Man from Planet Risk, and that will give you more information. Did that answer your question?
Well, I'm just wondering as well. So completely, all of the beings that are responsible for our ascension and for us to receive back our higher DNA, all those beings are Negroid, right?
No, what we're saying, we have been assigned one who's Partner Babyanun. His job is to come here to guide us, to upgrade us by way of giving us this knowledge back, because most people were caught up in the monotheistic religions, the spell of Kingu for the last 6,000 years, the spell of ignorance, racial blindness, not knowing who you are. Of course, he was sent to the Negroid race, but every other race also has had their own warners sent to them. So you look at even like Joseph Smith, right, of the Mormons, he was sent, and he speaks about being called what's his name, Jerome. But yeah, everyone has had someone sent to them. But what's happened is that We are the last. It says the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first. So when you're saying the beings are, or the being is Panababyanun, but he is a part of a council of beings, right? There are different councils, like the council of nine. Then you have the 24 elders. You have beings that work together, and he's been assigned as the being sitting in the last seat, known as the 24th, right? Because it's a beginning of the new 24,000 year cycle. Yanun is the 19th elder, but he's now sitting on the 24th seat because he's the renewer, the reformer. Yeah, we can go on and give you more and more information, but he's the being that's here. He's the being that everyone has been prophesizing and speaking about. And he's here, been here since 1960s, opening the seventh seal officially from 1970 AD. A lot of people are still catching on, but those of us who have been walking with him, we know by his works that he is who he is, and he's that living Messiah, the living black Messiah. Many other people, many other races have also beings that come for them. There are beings that are coming here for all kinds of things. Some of them have got some agendas which are not going to be safe for you in terms of, beings come here for many things. Beings have been living on this planet for millions of years. Some come here for shopping, some come here for food, some come here to hunt, for recreation, some come here to exchange information, some come here to trade, different information for different things. There's so much. It's not as simple as, it's just that this information was hidden for a very long time. And it's only, for some people, it's only recent that they're starting to get exposed to UFOs and UAPs, they say unidentified aerial phenomena, and they're now starting to give you something called disclosure. Millions of people around the world have had encounters with being abducted by different types of extraterrestrials. We've done videos to show you the various extraterrestrials that are living in the caverns in the earth. This is, for some people, is new information. For others, it's not. It's just that it's been hidden. And people say, how do you know what these aliens look like? Well, Panababyanun is an extraterrestrial. It's not every extraterrestrial looks hideous like what you see in the movies, and they call them, aliens and so forth. So you can Google 1945. From 1945, you see crafts over the White House. This ties into the.
I want to know something.
Go ahead.
So you're saying that he's an extraterrestrial negroid?
Yes, I am saying that, but the term negroid just described. Look, there's a book called My Brother the Extraterrestrial right here, right? This is the book that was published, probably, I think this is like going into 2000, 2001, around about that time. And it was written by his beloved sister. Yeah, right there. That's her right there. Okay. That's our Kamantat. Yeah. Mut Patah Waret Atumreye. That's his sister, right? She put this book together from her visits with him since his incarceration, and explaining, having grown up with him. You remember, she grew up with him from childhood to now, and explaining how he's an extraterrestrial. But I mean, the works speak for themselves. But yes, to answer your question, if you want to use that term, is a Nagar Nadu.
Okay, so there are other negroid beings out there in space.
Okay, let me explain this. You are one. We are all extraterrestrials. It's just that most of us, those who haven't yet come to the terms that when you say you're an extraterrestrial, we break this word down continuously. Extra just means in addition to something, addition to the terrain, or this planet was once known as Terra. So when you're saying extraterrestrial, you're talking about something that's coming from outside of the terrestrial, coming from the celestial into this atmosphere, into this being. Now, when you go to the Bible, the Quran, and all these lesser mysteries, they didn't really have the full knowledge or understanding of what extraterrestrial were. So they gave you stories about angels, about gods, and these gods are somewhere called heaven, and they come from above and they come down. And most of the stories in the Bible about extraterrestrials, they talk about, you know, Daniel, they talk about Ezekiel's will, they talk about chariots, they talk about the books of Revelation with the crystal city, they talk about angels like Michael and Gabriel. You know, even Muhammad was visited by an angel called Gabriel, or they say Jibril. All of this is to tell you that the part of you, right, that's not from here, because it also says that God breathed into man and man became what? You're a living soul. When you deal with soul, soul is energy, right? And there's a soul realm, and that realm is one of the 9 realms I mentioned before. You have to tap in or activate this, and once you start to align and activate these centers, energy centers within you, to make you a complete full being, which you are, a light being, because you're what we call etheric. You have another level of you called the ether, right? Ether is what connects everything and keeps everything glued together, called tachyon energy or gluon. That's what it is. And what it is people who have activated their powers, and it's like a remembering tool to remind you of who you are. Then you start to live and be the god or the god and goddesses that we are. But a lot of people have been given these doctrines that keep you subdued, keep you bound by the spell, keep you afraid, keep you not wanting to really know about the real you. And that's what you're talking about when you say an incarnation, like you're reactivating the God genes within you. Not everybody has them. Not everybody has the ability. Not everybody wants to even, you know, accept this knowledge. So it's down to the individual in terms of when you hear the tones, if you are one of those children, one of those people that resonate with it, the master teacher says he's come to find his children and to teach them and to get them to the point where they can receive their barathri gland if they're worthy, and then return home if they're able to make it. So, you know, this is a very serious thing, and truth is truth. That's why truth is what's going to make you free, nothing else. In the Bible, they say set you free, which sounds like, or again, it's a trap because it makes you think somebody has to come and do it. Because if you say somebody has to set you free, then you're waiting on someone to come and do it when you have the ability to do it. And this doctrine, Wu-Sabat, is what's going to help you do it. So you're going to make yourself free, because the helping hand that you're looking for is at the end of your own arm. You see, so Wu-Sabat is not just a dip you in water religion and then now you're like, oh, I'm born again. And then there's no progress, there's no change. You're still following dead stories, dead books, things that are not really progressive, dealing with divisions and dealing with, you know, suppression and all that kind of stuff. So Wu-Sabat is here for those who are really about getting in tune with their real inner being. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Next question. All right, let's see what we're saying in the chat. All right, Kimberly, Gunda. Oh yeah, I already said this knowledge has a calming effect on my mind. I really can't describe it. Yeah, there's some things you can't describe, you have to feel. Because when we're dealing with like I said, everyone's got ears, but not everyone can hear. Everyone has eyes, not everyone can see. You know, everyone has a nose, but not everyone can smell. But you have inner vibrations or inner ear, inner eye, you know, you have other parts of you that resonate on the higher vibration. And when you start to use these powers, right, you can feel things on a higher level. We did a video call from 3D to 9D, right, which is saying to you, like, most people are trapped in 3D. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, people, places, things, morning, afternoon, night, you know, breakfast. Like, that's how most people think. Lunch, supper. They're just stuck in a 3-dimensional world. Whereas there are 9 dimensions, and each one of those 9 has sub-levels or subplanes or degrees. Like I was saying with the colors, with anything, there are degrees. So you might have someone that is aware mentally, but then there is degrees of mental awareness. There's degree of consciousness. There's like the subconscious, there is the super conscious. There are different levels of anything you can think about. So yes, you might be awake, you might get your eye open, but then there are degrees of learning that you still have to go through to get to the higher degrees. 9 to the 9 power of 9. So different students are going to be at different levels, and it's down to you, because Wu-Sabat is here for you and everything you need is here. But you have to then, no one can take you and force you to exercise, even though you know that exercising is good for you. No one's going to force you to put the right things into your mouth. You have to do that. No one's going to force you to chant or to meditate, but those who do, because you have different parts of you. You have the physical body, right? Most people can do things for the physical body, but others, again, in degrees, you might be able to do 5 press-ups. Someone else might do 100 press-ups a day, and others will push themselves even further. That's just dealing with the physical. When you're dealing with your spiritual aspects, like you might fast for 1 day. Somebody else might fast 3 days, 4 days. And there are different degrees and different levels of fasting. When it comes to the mind, that's another level. Like, how can you endure, like, when you're put under extreme conditions of maybe, say, stress or chaos around you, but you're still able to have the right mentality or mind to control whatever you're, being subjected to. So there are different levels to everything, and it's down to you to walk with the master teacher and let him raise you up in degrees. But you have to start by dealing with the basics. That's life, the foundations, All right, let's look at more questions, because we have a lot. Yeah, so I was saying to Kimberly, is because it's the truth. That's why you have that calming effect. Oh, someone else said that already. Oh, OSM Vision. Yeah, you're on point, bro. It is the truth. It's not plain. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. Yeah, because we hadn't started yet. I know some of you are early birds, and we want to take the time out, listen, to thank you, because we know we have some dedicated listeners and people that have been with us on this journey right from the beginning. And you're loyal, and we want to show you and appreciate, love you. And there are those who support us in what we do, and every little helps, because we have a big job to do. We're trying to build a studio so we can have more content. As support us. We do this, we're dedicated to this. We're here every week for you. So we want to just say, yeah, we appreciate, love all those who support us. Like, share, subscribe. Wu-Sabat is the future. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Remember, you can ring in. Okay, let's go. Is our souls more important than our spirits? A simple answer, though, that's from Life is a Blessing. Simple answer is yes. However, they're all equally important, because they interact with each other. They're interrelated. Like, it's like saying, is my little finger more important than my arm? Well, if you chop off your little finger, you're going to find out that has a major effect on your arm and then the rest of your body. So everything is related. It's in terms of the spirit, it will help the soul in terms of pushing it further into the higher realms and dimensions. So it needs to be strong. But if you don't have a soul, you can't access the higher realms. So yes, the soul is definitely more important in that regard. Everything that is alive, vibrating, has a spirit. But like I mentioned, and I keep mentioning in many videos, remember, the knowledge we give you is what we've been taught by the master teacher, Partner Babyanun. The master teacher. He's called the master teacher because he is the master at teaching. Nobody teaches like him. He's the one that is the warner, the guide, the reformer, the one that has been sent here to spread Wu-Sabat and help humanity to progress, you know, and go to the next 24,000 years. So the spirit is useful because you need your spirit to navigate and be in this three-dimensional world. And so that's why trees, animals, rocks, everything has a spirit because you're dealing with a vibration. But then you have higher vibrations go into the soul realm and go into the etheric realm that you have to reach, but you can only do so with a soul. And obviously it all ties into when you say soul. Actually, the word soul is the original word, a Latin word, right? Even though it became S-O-L instead of S-O-U-L. And soul ties into solar, as in the sun, because the energy that sustains this planet is from the sun mainly. And the word solar comes from two beings, Sal, because you have to learn and know how our universe came about, all right? And you had two beings, Sal and Arena. It's their two names that got put together to get the word solar. And you can read this in the Holy Tablets. And that's where the name was Sal, and Arena became solar, taking the first part. Because remember, again, when you study languages, you start to look at Semitic languages or Shemitic languages, you start to see that the vowels are interchangeable. So Sal, S-A-L, can be S-O-L, and then Arena, A-R-I-N-A, the first part of that name, A-R, put together became solar. But that solar energy tying into your solar plexus, right? So this is how the energy is really useful. Okay, we have another caller live, so let's take that. Wabat.
How you doing, bro?
Doing my best, Zamal. How are you?
Oh, it's Sakem. Is that you?
Tua,
Can you
Anuki.
hear me?
Yes, Tua.
Okay. How you doing, bro? I cannot. Can you raise your volume a little? It's a little. Maybe
Okay.
because I'm on. Hold on. Maybe I could. If I close the YouTube, it might be. Okay. Can you hear me better?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Who's
I don't know
calling?
why it's a
Where are
little
you calling
low, but
from?
yeah. So how you doing, Sakem? Wabat, man.
Wabat.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Who's calling?
Yes.
Is that Kaiser?
Kaiser.
All right. I thought I
Yeah,
recognized the voice, the tone. How are you? Long time.
Yeah. I'm great, man. Yeah. So I appreciate the last you uploaded the 1-to-1. So yeah, it put me in a great mood.
Great.
And happy to see that. I love.
All right.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good. Do you have a question for me today?
Oh, all right, right. Well, yeah. I mean, quick question, right?
Yeah.
I'm sort of thinking of. Well, basically, I have some news. I'm going to Africa, so I'm going to the vacation to the motherland. Yeah, that's what I want to say first.
All right.
Yeah. So, I thought about over time when you say it's important to speak Miss Batia and we're united. So yeah, I wanna, while I'm there, I was thinking I would like try to see if there's a place that people are speaking that language. So that's my question. Is there anywhere in Africa that they mainly majority, like it could be a community that speaks Miss Batia? Yeah, know of. Because
where are you going in Africa?
You gotta start helping people talking.
Sorry, where are you going in Africa?
Yes, Uganda, Africa. So I have a vacation in Uganda.
Okay.
So yeah,
obviously
they mostly speak English.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, where we have communities in Africa is where you're going to find people speaking Miss Batia. We're all still learning. There are some that are more proficient than others, but no, I don't know of a community in Uganda at the moment. But this is the point. We will be obviously growing and would spread Wu-Sabat, including Miss Batia, everywhere worldwide. But yeah, I mean, just keep learning. But I don't know of a community in Uganda at the moment that speaks Miss Batia.
Oh, okay, good.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right. Is that it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, there's more. Yeah. That's it. I think that's good. That's good. Yeah, because there's a big interest for the Miss Batia. So
absolutely,
you could have teachers teaching over there, and they just start speaking that language, and then it'll grow from like 5 people to 10 to 100, then thousands.
Yeah, that's why we need
That's
to establish communities, and you know, we have a lot of work to do, and we're running various projects and rebuilding rebuilding communities and things. So that's how we're going to do it. It's not about, you know, just one person, you know, going on their own to, you know, do all the work. It's about working together and moving together. Obviously, it's good to travel and look and see things for yourself. You know, we're taught to, you know, research, evidence, reason, experience. It's all part of our learning. So yeah, it's good for you to go and check it out. But yeah, eventually we will definitely have communities over there. All right.
But it's also good that I'm learning, right? So if I'm gonna continue learning,
and
if I know the language, I speak Miss Batia over there, it can spread like that too. It's gonna grow. Because I'm learning that language.
But remember, they also have to learn to be able to
learn more. They go online
converse
classes,
with
what
you.
I'm saying. So
yeah. All right. Well, have a good trip and let us know when you come back how it went.
Oh yeah, yes, yes. It'll be great. You know, I might try to think of a question, but I just want to talk to you. Wish you a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna keep listening.
There are lots of other questions.
It's a little hard to hear, so
no problem.
All right, thank you.
All right. Okay. Next question we have from Life is a Blessing. How exactly were we placed into dolphins to be seeded on this planet? Okay, that sounds like the religious story with Jonah being placed into a well. We were not placed into a dolphin. What it is, you have to remember that when we look at what we consider life, right? Whatever life form you can think of, you have to remember that life form started off being very minute, right? You're really composed of cells, and cells are quite small, right? So when you start to break things down into the lowest denominator, or the smallest particle that made them up, you're going to find that things start small. And this is where you're dealing with microscopic life forms. And when you look at even like yourself, you had to come by way of the sperm, right, from your father. And then your mother grew you in her stomach. And then you grew and grew and grew, and you came out as a baby. And then you continue to grow to what you are today. When we're saying the dolphins were seeded with the prototype, or what will then become life form on this planet in the way you know it as humanoid. So it wasn't, when you say how were we placed, it was the Natharu that seeded and put the DNA and the genes and the formula in a capsule into the dolphin and transported the dolphins into the waters of this planet. The planet as you know it today was not always like this. This planet has been through many changes, had many names, had many catastrophes, and has evolved and evolved over the millions and millions of years, right? Billions, in fact, when you look back to the universe and its formation. So you have to think the universe itself was forming. And then you had from the universe, the galaxies, and galaxies, different galaxies are then formed into different, what you call like solar systems, right? When we say solar system, we're basically saying that You have suns, right? There are billions of suns when you look into the night sky, especially if you use a telescope. Even with the James Webb telescope, the most advanced telescope, when they're looking into the universe, it's it's phenomenal. It's like the cosmos, the amount of billions and billions of stars, and they're trying to tell you that when you're looking at a star, you're looking at a star that came from something, and then from it, things came out of it, and then they're like caught up in its magnetic pull, and then they form different star systems. All right, and one of ours is where we have, you know, Mercury, Mars, Venus, all these planets around the sun. So our planet Earth today wasn't always called Earth. Earth comes from the word Ard, right? Which really ties to the Anunnaki stories, and it was called Tiamat at one point. You see, so life forms evolved, and then the dolphin with the capsule that melted into the seas germinated, and then through millions of years evolved. And then you had, you know, you had like, if you go back to the early forms of the planet, you start to look at things like the algae and looking at single cells and amoebas. I mean, these are things you have to go and look at, study, you know, do some scientific research, and you know what I'm saying. But then eventually that life came out of the waters. We as the Nagaru were the first, and we came out as reptilians, known as the frogs and the snakes when you go back into ancient Egypt, and referred to as the Ogdoads, right? And the nine Enneads. And then beings evolved and came from that. And then eventually, through tsunamis and certain events, beings got thrown onto land. And then from there, some couldn't get back to the water because they were thrown out so far. And then they evolved on the land. Then you have those who were thrown onto trees, and others went back into the waters. You had millions of years of civilizations under the water with mermaids and mermen. They tell you and show you most of these stories in many movies, okay? Like Sirens, even Aquaman, and all these types of movies. They tell you about life in the waters. Then you had the Anunnakis come, beings like Enki, all right, known as Nudimud. He was terraforming the planet, and he's a water being because his mother is a draconian known as Id. Because remember, Anu had two wives, Antum and Id. All right, Id was Enki's mother, and so Enki was building great underwater cities. People will say, why can't you find them today? You have to, if you know how deep the sea is, that's why they call it the deep. You watch movies where they even take submarines. You can go so deep to a point where you can't breathe. I mean, you can't breathe even just like a few miles down anyway. Even just in the swimming pool, you can't breathe underwater, much less when you have suits, you know, diving suits, and you see movies when they get so far. If they do not have certain equipment, they can literally explode, right? That, you know, or they can't get back up in time if they don't have enough oxygen. So I'm saying to you, there are parts of the sea, deep seas, where have never been explored, where these beings and entities and cities are under. You had like Rainbow City and many cities in the caverns. The caverns, you read again. We've got all these books. So if you want to get hold of them, Shambhala and Agartha, okay? Cities within, all right? I don't see to have it here, but that goes into it. People say, oh, but people used to say that the earth wasn't hollow. They said there's lava. But if you look at the map of the inner world, the subterranean world, there's a map, you know, the one that shows Shambhala, right? It shows you the different levels as you're going down in terms of the caverns and where the lava is, right? There you go. It's even in this diagram. Yeah, so I'm saying is there are different, depending on how far down you go in the, on page on page 32 of Mission Earth and the extraterrestrial involvement, again, you can get hold of this scroll. There's a picture called the Hollow Earth, right? And the Hollow Earth, it shows you the diagram with the central sun. And this was depicted by artist Max Fifield of Denmark, right? And it explains, right? For example, because people say, oh, they didn't realize that the earth was hollow. They used to say solid and the lava, but there are levels or stratas and there are points where the lava is and the volcanoes and all of that. It shows you in this diagram. So when you study that, look at it properly, study it, and then as you go deeper and deeper in, you have a completely different environment, subterranean world with different beings living in different caverns. Some of them have been there for millions of years. Some come and go. Some of them have left. They come in through many entrances, and the entrances were the north and south poles, right? So it says here, for example, where are the entrances to this subterranean world? Answer: there are entrances all over the planet Earth. Many are found in caves, well hidden, and exist in as many places on the Earth as there are on the Earth. In order to enter these caverns, you must know where the entrances are, like the polar regions. These entrances will lead you to a whole different tropical environment in such places as Peru, Brazil, yeah, Guatemala, I can't pronounce that word properly, as well as Arizona, the North and South Poles, which I mentioned, Africa, Germany, Egypt, the Himalayas, Montana, right? Because there are so many different species that live in the caverns, they may or may not contact the people that live on the earth. It says, what do these beings want? Answer: these beings really don't want anything from surface dwellers because they are far more advanced than humans. However, some do come to educate, others come for blood, for those that eat human flesh. Most of them keep to themselves and are concerned with the conditions of the planet, because what happens on the surface can affect what happens on the inside. Take, for instance, the air filters down to these underground cities. If the radiation in the air is high, like when the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima on August the 6th, 1945 AD, and on Nagasaki on August the 9th, 1945 AD, which made many subterranean crafts come to the surface, and many crafts came from other planets to the Earth, right? So I was saying before, if you start to research Roswell and all these sightings, just Google extraterrestrials over White House in 1945, you'll see this. And this is because when that atomic bomb and these types of things take place, they risk affecting those beings. So they will come out and they will try to basically deal with it. All right, we have another live caller. This is available as well. Caller, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
This is Simon from London. How you doing? Second,
Rahubat, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Well, just a quick question. The mud flood, was that created by sound and frequency?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't catch the first part.
You know the mud flood?
The mud flood?
There's a mud flood in the 1600s. I think it destroyed Tartaria, I believe.
Right. Yeah. I can't say specifically on that one, but we do know that many there are different weapons and things that are used, like weather weapons and so forth, till this day, that cause those types of events. Yeah. And you know, there are, like I was saying, even now, like there are lots of what people call sinkholes, right?
Yeah.
Those sinkholes are, all of a sudden people are seeing these massive sinkholes. It's because some of these extraterrestrial crafts that were inhabiting a particular location, some of them have left and now left, you know, they've taken a lot of things with them. So they're major holes that you just find you know, all over the planet right now. But yeah, there are incidences that take place. There are lots of underground cities, you know, that people discover just by because of the natural disasters and things like that that are taking place, you see. So yeah, there are lots of things that happen on the planet based on either meteorites hitting, you know, meteorites hit all the time. It's just that they may not be of a significant size to cause major damage. But if you start to look at the craters and look at what's happened on the planet for, you know, for thousands and millions of years, you start to see a story building up, because it's like there were wars and certain crashes and certain things taking place as well. Does that help?
Yeah, but yes, it definitely does. But you've got no more information on the Tartaria.
No,
that
not at the
empire,
moment.
no.
I'll have to maybe do a bit more research on that one and come
Okay.
back to you.
Just one more question again.
Sure.
How is Asaru? We haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, Asar is good. We saw him this week. He came briefly, but like I said, he travels a lot. But yeah, he was here last week,
okay.
and I think he's gone back to Sheffield or one of those places in the north.
Yeah, listen, sending my ashuk to all you guys and keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm loving it.
Right. We need you to come and help, though.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone keeps telling us keep doing what you're doing, but you know, there's a lot of work to be done.
I'm doing what I can on the mind level, if you like.
Okay,
I'm doing a lot of that. I'm putting stuff out there, right, with the mind, and you said that's how I said. Keep doing what you guys are doing. I'll do what I can, though, definitely.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right.
Ashuk, and take care. I'll see you soon, guys.
All right. Wadu. Have you pressed the like button yet? If you haven't done so, please, that helps us with the algorithm to obviously keep doing what we do. So please just hit that like button if you haven't done so. All right. Let's keep going. What was the next question? Actually, today, dealing with what I was saying about solar, the energy. The weather's nice in the UK at the moment, so we're lapping it up. Sun cycle's definitely here. It's coming. All right. Yeah, we had a question. Yeah, covered the one about the dolphins. Rahubat. Okay. Any more question? Yeah, Wu-Sabat in the building. Check chaser. Oh, where can we get that song? Yeah, that song, Freedom for the Master Teacher. Well, it's gonna be officially released and the official video being done, and we want you to be involved because we want as many faces and voices of freeing the Master Teacher to be seen and shown and heard. So we're running a competition at the moment. The competition ends next week, Tuesday, when the live stream is over. What we'd like you to do is just mime the song and film yourself the best quality you can, and get the family involved. You know, you can go on location. We've seen some submissions and they're so good. Yeah, someone saying they're gonna win. They keep saying they're gonna win, and I'm like, well, we wait and see. But yeah, submit the videos once you film them to osmvision.wetransfer.com, and that will give you the opportunity to win some excellent prizes. And then you will be featured as well in the video. So that will be available on the platforms we're going to share with you once it's live, and that will be very soon. So we'd like your support on that as well, because we really want the world to hear that song, Freedom for the Master Teacher, because that's what we're all waiting for. That's what the world is waiting for. And I can feel it, you know, it's very close. All right. So yeah, thank you for that question. You can just find it on YouTube at the moment so that you can learn the words and mime along. You can just do the chorus or you can do the entire song. It's up to you. All right. That was from Kill Hall. Kiel Hall, if I'm pronouncing your name properly. Rahobat Amanda from Washington. George Rahobat. Okay, life is a blessing. I'm not sure if you mentioned it before, but what does the Z in the Master Teacher name stand for? The Z That's such a good question in terms of what I'm about to say next. The Z stands for Zodok, Zedek, as in Melchizedek, or Zodok, which the Zodokites are your elite or the elders, the masters. And yeah, so when you see Malachi Z, that's his name, but it stands for Zodok, which is, remember we say that in the books of Malachi, okay? Because he's the one that wrote the book. The book is called Malachi. And Malachi chapter 4, verse 2 talks about the angel of justice coming with healing in his wings, the son of righteousness, okay? And that's when we're saying that justice, that also ties into the Egyptian word ma'at, all right? Which is, again, dealing with being fair and just. Because when this angel comes, he comes to judge and to basically eradicate all the lies and the falsehood that has kept people's minds entrapped in these religions, in the sixth ether spell for 6,000 years. And with him coming means that the truth will be available to everyone. And that starts by way of him opening what they call the seventh seal, okay? And then pouring out the truth to the world. So that's what the Z stands for. Now, what I was going to say is, with everything, you have the truth, and then you have the distortion, or the evil being made fair seeming. So there's a movie called World War Z, and you look at the Z, again, it's depicted in red because it's dealing with what they call the zombie. The Z stands for zombie, or the zombie apocalypse, which deals with also the reptilian beings that are coming from places like the Zeta Reticuli, which deals with these reptilian draconian beings that are here to, when you look at zombies, they're basically flesh eaters. And in that movie, World War Z, go and look at it again and study it. And Z happens to be Z, as we call it here in the English accent. Z is the last letter. So the last time, we're coming to what they call the end times. And for those who are really watching our videos keenly, there are many things we tell you by way of the warner, the master teacher, who told us about the zombie apocalypse and told us about what's going on right now on this planet, years and years and years ahead, right? If you're listening, we told you like what was going on with the wars in Palestine and all that. We told you, we said it's about the land. Lord and behold, this week, what are they all talking about? Occupation of Gaza. So these are things where if you're really paying attention to what we're teaching, when we're talking about the Antichrist and talking about how everything that is good is being distorted and being put in a way that you're being fooled, and you might think you're doing the right thing, but really they run ahead of you. There are organizations like a society called the Luciferian conspiracy, right? Luciferian conspiracy, yeah, which was way before religion and Christianity and all that came about. And they set about, when you look at the word Luciferian, you hear the word Lucifer, okay? Yeah, who is what? The morning star, right? So when you're reading certain books, you think you might be like thinking you're calling on a good being or worshiping a good being, using words like Jesus and so on and so forth. But you don't know what entity that is that you're actually calling on, because you've never seen that being apart from a depiction or a picture that someone gave you, you see. But the Luciferian conspiracy deals with you see the light? Well, it's a fire really. Because even with fire, you have, or what people call light, you have fire and you have light. Two different things. So when the Bible and the Quran and all these religious books were being written, they didn't know about Thomas Edison and the electric bulb and all of that. Like, they were dealing with fire and fire worship. That's why Abraham is their chosen man. Abraham was from a place called Ur of Chaldea. That's Ur means fire. So the Luciferians are fire worshippers, and the fire that they're giving their allegiance to is Lucifer, right? When you say Lucifer, you're talking about the circle, cipher, right? Lucifer, the morning star. Go to Isaiah, it talks about this. This is where you get the light, the brotherhood of the light, dealing with the Illuminati. But when people say Illuminati, they're not telling you who these people are. But you go to people like Albertus Magnus or Albert Pike, who are the forefathers that actually put these organizations together, ties into the witches known as Madame Blavatsky, tying into the Thule society that Hitler was, you know, they chose Hitler as their man on the planet. And you start to look at what he did in terms of, you know, what he did on the planet, and look at one of the 200 fallen angels' name is also Hitler. This is also available. All these books, the master teacher didn't just put them out for the sake of it. You know, there's a lot of information that you need to know that is describing in detail who the families are, who are the people that you're calling the Illuminati, and what do they plan. We talk about things like the New World Order in detail. That was way back then. Even Hitler wrote a book called The New World Order. So a lot of the things that we're telling you when we're dealing with the Antichrist, right? This is the end times where we're talking about the book of Revelations. People look at that as this is also available. The Leviathan, 666, the mark of the beast. We broke this down. You can look and see the jewels that we give you. Check this out. The guy that has the towers, his name begins with a T, right? That's a T. T tower. Read between the lines. Okay. Then you look at the towers, the twin towers that came down on 9/11. Coincident? No coincidence. Okay. 45 president. 4 plus 5 is what? 9. Then what? 47 president was 4 plus 7. 11. 9/11. T towers, twin towers, 9/11. There's so much we go into. These books, The Mark of the Beast, The Luciferian Conspiracy. If you really want to know what's going on, Mission Earth and the extraterrestrial involvement, Man from Planet Risk. We can go on and on. Look, conflict of the gods. These wars that are taking place, the wars are taking place because these are based on religion, based on serving their gods, trying to appease their gods, trying to keep up this competition, divisions between people, where you have, you know, like the Enki and Enlil. Those were Anunnaki gods. They had conflicts, and they wanted, some people took allegiance to Enki, some to Enlil. And that has been the cause ever since, all the way from the Cain and Abel story, to the Jacob and Esau story, to the Enlil and Enki story, till this day, where you have two parties, where you have, you know, whatever country you go to, there are always two predominant parties. One wears the red tie, one wears the blue tie, whether they're Republican and Democrats, or over here we say that, you know, Labour, and then we have Conservative. There are always two predominant parties conflicting against each other, trying to serve their gods or their deities, right, on earth. And then the wars and the divisions and the religions, and everyone's just fighting, and there's just killings and chaos on the planet. All of that has got to go with 9 ether. That's why the master teacher's here. Now you're dealing with extraterrestrials and creation, right? Because the beings on this planet, a lot of them, right, have been taken over by extraterrestrials, because it is a plan ET. We say planet. You know, we can go on and on, but Wu-Sabat gives you so much information into information, so that your eyes are open and you're completely clear on what's going on the planet. And you need to learn what to do and how to prepare yourself, because You know, the showdown is definitely coming. All right, let me see if I can get through a lot of these questions. Right, so I'll cover that one. The vibes are, yeah, check chaser. Yeah, the time's serious. Right now, we got a lot of work to do, so we need to hurry up and get things done. It's not just about the accumulation of information, and knowledge is great, but application of it is even better. All right. The vibes are high today. Love every one of you. We also love you too. Oh, I already answered where you can get the song. I'm not sure if you mentioned, yeah, I covered the Z. Oh yeah, the number, just to remind you all, for those who want to ring in live, UK area code +44 753 9963 882. I repeat, +44 753 9963 882. You can call us via WhatsApp and have your questions answered live. All right. Okay, check chaser again. Wabat again. I'm hearing all of this about beings coming here this year. Should we prepare? And I've been getting followed ever since I started spreading Wu-Sabat. How can I protect me spiritually? Listen, people say things like beings coming. They've been here. They've been coming, and we are those beings, some of us. So it's nothing new. You just have to be doing the right things in the right camp to be protected on the Wu-Sabat, right? By way of the master teacher, Partner Babyanun. We can't make it any simpler or clearer than that. People want to go off and try and do their own thing, or go and follow this one or follow that one. That's entirely up to you as well. We don't really, you know, we give you the affirmation to information. We tell you what we've been told and what we've been taught. We share everything with you. It's our job. We are those angels that are here to spread the word. And you become that too once you start to do the work. So when you're saying, how will I be protected? That's what Wu-Sabat is here for. And there are things that we do, like in terms of our chants, our rituals, and so on and so forth. So you really need to plug in and be close to the family. When people say, should we be preparing? We were given this information since the 60s to prepare. 70s, 80s, 90s, now 2025. You know, we should have been prepared. But a lot of people, they just wait to the last minute. Lastminute.com, innit? That's what we do. We wait to the last minute. And then you start to run around like headless chickens, when right now we're doing work. Join us, come and help. We got our 100 project. If you haven't supported that, we'd appreciate love you to do so. Information is in the Telegram group. If you're new, join the Telegram group, because we share a lot of things daily, 24/7. All right, so yeah, spreading Wu-Sabat is a good thing, because that will help you. Anyone who wants to apply the knowledge, it will help them. All right. Virgin Island, Rahubat, Musa, much shook and peace. Each one reach one, each one teach one. 100%. Mitchell Lawrence, which extraterrestrial did black people come from, or are linked to the most? See, again, when you say black people, that's a very vague term. There are different species of Nagaru or Nagarnadu, 9 species, and we come from what people term the original beings or Africans, going back to what they refer to as the Neolithic era or pre-dynastic, right? And these beings that I explained that came out of the waters, known as the Pataites, right? And those were seeded here, and they, by way of the dolphin, by our ancestors known as the Natharu, the overseers, who come from a place called Risk, a planet called Risk in Ilion, which is a galaxy, right? That's who we we came by way of Sirius, the Sirius star constellation, and by way of the Orion. But we are actually literally all over the different universes. The 19th is the one that Parna Babyanun comes from, right? The 19th galaxy, and the planet Risk. And he was seeded, sent here and seeded into the child to be an Ilita Mutajasid, which is what people call an avatar in the Sanskrit, but that is the being that is here right now. That's who we're related to. All right. Some people are related to other extraterrestrials, such as the Anunnaki. When you look at the Anunnaki, they're also brown skin and had woolly hair, but they are a different branch, right? So when we say blacks, it depends on who you are. Now, everyone on the planet then actually comes by way of the DNA or the genetics of the Negroid, which people are calling black, all right? And then there are hybrids, and there are other entities or other beings that come from different star systems that have mixed in with those on the planet. All right, we have another live caller. So live caller, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please? Rahubat. 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 We're just trying to get you to come up louder. Give us 1 second. Yeah, just hold on for 1 minute. We're just gonna try and put you through the speaker. All right, go ahead. I think that should be working better now. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here, Zamal.
Yeah, that's much better. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question actually was from earlier today. It kind of links on just a little bit to the question that was asked before, but I believe it's from the deception. Is it deception of
Racial
the race?
deception, part of that.
It's a part of that, yeah.
Tua, racial deception.
Yes, racial deception. From point 8 to 9, I don't know if you have it there.
I'm actually trying. I'm looking now to see if I can grab it.
Yeah, I just wanted a little bit of clarification around the 9 species. So
Okay, I've got it now. Yeah. What page are you looking at? What verse?
First page, right at the bottom. I believe it's verse 8 or 9.
Okay, yeah. Where it says there are 9 species of different types of Parnagara. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you mind just giving me a little bit more, or directing me to other scrolls that would maybe break that down, just so that I have a better understanding? So
Tua.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think intelligent design
Okay.
goes into more detail, and there's another part of that goes into more detail. I'm gonna try and see if we can find it. But essentially, what the master teachers is explaining, and we've done a video on this for those who want to watch it, is that each race, right? We explain that there are 3 root races, and the original being the Negroid race, or the way that the anthropologists break it down today with the latest information is Homo habilis and Homo naledi. That's the African, right? But within each race, so that's the first one. The second one being the Homo florensis or the Denisovan, which covers all of the Asians, right? That's like your Chinese, Korean, Japanese, all of them. That's the second root race. The third one being what they call the Caucasian, which is made up of the Neanderthal and the Cro-Magnon. And each one of these race has different species, okay? So a simple way of trying to explain this is like, if you said cats, right? You have cats, but you have different species of cats. Obviously, people are familiar with the domesticated cat, but then you got like lions, cheetahs, tigers, panthers. They're all species of cats. It's the same when you look at the Negroid, as it says here. It says, and each race, how you know they have a unique trait. So for the Negroid race, our unique trait is the fact that we have hair. And back in the 60s, 70s, when you used to see Negroids, you know, the Jackson Fives and most of the music groups had Afro hair. And so that's our special trait. Then you have, and even like you look at people's composition, like their feet, the heel, the way their torso is shaped, their shoulders, their ears, their mouth. If you look closely, you can see that different people, different races have special traits. And so when you're saying there are 9 species or different types of Negroids, this is part of the reason why sometimes we don't get along, because different species have different genetic makeup, right? And different variations. I think even in this actual racial deception, the master does go a bit further. So for example, if I read from verse 15, it says there are 6 species or types of Pakakasu. And when you see 6 dealing with 6 ether and the whole thing, like you look at Vikings, those are their different clans or species. You see VI is 6 in Roman numerals, right? Because when you're saying, say, English or England, you're really saying Anglo-Saxon. But that's from the VI Vikings, right? The 6 kings. And they're made up of the Irish, Gaelic, Scottish, Polish, Finnish, and Welsh. This is why you'll have like beings that had like blonde hair, blue eyes, dealing with the original like Nordics that were grafted. And then you will have like, the red hair, the green eyes. And so we can't always just look at someone and say that they're the same when they're not in terms of their species. But yeah, if you read Intelligent Design and Plot of Aliens, that goes into more details about the different species of the Nagaru. Does that help?
Sure. Thank you. Tawata.
Okay.
I have one more question, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just taking note of the book. Did you say The Plot of Aliens?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it myself right now. So it's called Intelligent Design or Plot of Aliens. I don't know if I have it here, but I'm looking. Yeah, go ahead with your second question whilst I look for that.
Sure. So just on the back of that, then, like I've been doing a lot of work with you all, and I guess this a question sort of maybe more for the family, or as to just why is it so difficult for us to, does this have anything to do with why it's so difficult for us to actually get moving?
Yes.
And get things done, and actually, because I always hear everyone sending their love, everybody, has so much appreciation and appreciate love for what it is that you do and everyone does in the background, and how we come together and try to keep things moving. But the reality is we need bodies on the ground. We need all hands on deck. We need, like people actually lifting and moving. So yeah, I guess just, I'm just trying to figure out why is it so.
Okay, I think I get your question.
Yeah.
The way the master explains it, he says many are called, few are chosen, right? Because and also in our proclamation, when you listen to the Partarot recordings on YouTube, right? It's not about talking, it's about the action. So it says, if you proclaim these, what we have an allegiance to being a Sabian or a Nuwapian, and if you proclaim that, then you have to show it by way of your actions. You have to become and live Wu-Sabat. You have to be that example in terms of what you're doing. You don't need to fake it, because people don't realize, when like the first question we had today was like, how do I get my barathri gland? People don't realize it takes work to get Like anything that's worth anything, you have to put in the work. If you want to have a six-pack, you have to put in the work. If you want to build a school or a business or anything, you have to put in the work. And that's where the line is drawn, where you see those who talk and they give it all. I'm going to do this. We don't use the word going or trying. It's either you do or you don't. And when you look at the numbers, as you say, going back to the many are called and few are chosen, you see that we have thousands, we reach millions of people. But when it comes to that practical application of, are you actually representing Wu-Sabat? Are you representing the culture? Are you helping out in the stores? Are you helping to start classes? You know, because every little thing that you see is done by someone. And when you become that god or goddess, we like to say we're gods, we're great, we're this, we're that. Well, you have to wear the mask of God. You have to start to live in the image and likeness of God. Parnabab Yanun has shown us how it's done. And he has shown us that we are gods. And he's basically saying, you now have the reins. Remember, the master teacher is getting on in terms of his skin suit. And we have to build. He's shown us what to do and how to do it. So, honestly speaking, people can talk the talk, make the promises, but they say a promise is a comfort to a fool. And what we really need to do is see you at the stores worldwide, helping, see you contributing. You know, don't just say, yeah, we all want a better world. We want peace. We want love and harmony. And the master says love and unity will free him. Well, you can't be doing it in your bedroom by yourself. You see, so you got to come in, and those who work, you see them. We're visible. We're out there. We're doing what we're doing, but many hands do make light work. So yes, you're right. Even when we look at the Telegram group, we have nearly 3,000 people on there. But when it comes to turning up, showing up, you have to be in it to win it. And people, at the end of the day, you can't go by talk. You know, you have to walk that talk. And people start to make excuses. They start telling you what. This is another thing as well. It's like people say they can't because they're serving the oppressor, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like you're working all your hours and days for the oppressor, but you're still broke. And so you can't contribute anything, but you're giving it all back to the system that suppresses and subjugates you. So it really makes no sense. Their mind is still not liberated, it's not free. And the master says, once your mind is free, you then become that living Nathar. You know what I mean? Like you have to, you can't be free and still thinking and acting under the slave mentality. You see, so I can only go by those. I see those that actually do, but we have to keep encouraging, obviously, and reaching out to people, because we have to break the spell. We have to break that spell. But yeah, it's a day and time we're living in, and time is not really on our side, because the devil's at work implementing things that, you know what I mean, it's going to make things even more and more difficult for people to have, freedoms and stuff. So let's just get to work. And I'm just happy that you're involved and you're helping, and each one teach one and each one reach one. But yeah, if you look at that scroll, I found it. It's intelligent design,
intelligent design,
divine design or plot of aliens. Okay. That's the scroll. And if you look at even from the very kind of first couple of pages, it shows you the different races and the traits on page 11. You know, it shows you, like, you can actually look at humans now on the planet, look at their features, and then tie them into their race and into the species. Because I'm just seeing if I can find the actual. The stream's cut out. Okay. So we're gonna go back. All right. That's good. Let me try and find the part for her. I wonder if that's we're kicking out too much truth.
Did you?
Sorry, you still there? Sorry, the stream cut out for a minute.
Oh yeah, no, I'm still here. Did you
Okay.
say that there was an extension on the challenge for the video?
Yes, there's an extension for another week until next week, Tuesday.
Right.
So yeah, we're looking forward to more videos, and we like the ones we've seen so far. So are you submission? Are you gonna submit?
I'm challenging all the brothers and sisters. Like, I'm gonna win.
You're gonna win. Okay.
Yeah.
You're confident.
Yeah, I'm gonna win.
All right.
We want
Well,
some challenge, you know?
you like the challenge, yeah? All right.
Yeah, we want a challenge, but I'm definitely gonna win.
Okay. Well, I like your confidence. I like your confidence. Yeah, I'm still trying to find there is a lot of information in this scroll about the different species, and it even breaks it down to the detail in terms of how we all get the traits from the Sans people, the chromosomes, etc. If I'm not
So
sure.
maybe I'll just get that scroll and maybe I'll go through it and
Yeah, and I will also post something in the Telegram group when I
Sure.
find it. But yeah, that goes into more detail. All right.
Perfect. Tower tap, Zamal.
Okay. Tau and tat athir afro.
Ashok.
Ashok wadu.
Wadu.
Wadu. I'm live, yeah. Okay, people. We're just gonna yeah, you know, when we start kicking out a lot of truth and facts, and even sometimes on these, you know, we hold back because we don't really have that much time to go into a lot of detail because we're trying to answer as many questions as possible. But yeah, you know, sometimes we get these peculiar technical issues. But yeah, if you're in the Telegram group, you know, we go into a lot more detail, or the live Q&A classes on Saturdays, we go into a lot more detail as well. All right. We're just waiting for the new link so that I can see the live questions. You may have to re-ask your question again if you haven't got your question answered. Yeah, but we you know, we like to thank everyone that is doing their best. On page 42 again of this scroll, intelligent design, divine design, or plot of aliens, series number 46. On page 42, the barathri gland is again, there's an illustration and it's going into more detail about, you know, what it is, and yeah, basically go into more details about that. So, all right, let's get back to the questions. Panabab Yanun is here to set the record straight. Set the record straight and to give you back your power so you can unlock your hidden potential. All these books you hear us mentioning and talking about are available at nashat.co.uk.
Rahul back there. Can you hear me at all?
Oh, Rahul back. Yes. Zamal, how are you doing?
I can barely hear you, like.
Rahul back. Can you hear me now?
Barely. Is this live or is it like, because on my side the connection's gone down. I can't even see
it's live.
the program and stuff.
It is live, but we lost the connection before, but we're back live.
Okay, let me see if it all works. Let me just tune in and then I'll get back to you. Thank you, brother.
Okay, let's keep going. Why are there lots of wildfires in the West? And they are blame it on global warming, but Africa is more hot, but no wildfires. Very good question, great question. remember I was just touching on talking about the gods of the Bible and these religious books. They worship fire, right? Just watch all the like music videos and stuff, like even rap videos, and ask yourself, why is there always some kind of fire burning in the background? Like they will just set a car on fire in the background. Like, and it's just like, what's that got to do with the song? But that's because of they're worshipping fire, and that fire is the fire that blinds people, the religious light, because it tells you that light blinds. There are people who stare into the sun till they go blind. And the master explained to us many years ago that if you start a fire on one side, right, and animals that are on that side, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to run to the other side. So there are certain plans where they're mobilizing and moving people in certain directions on purpose, right? And some fires are caused by the heat burning debris or like leaves. But you also have to remember, when you're dealing with beings that exist on various levels, elemental beings, they can direct, and Mother Nature is doing certain works, because we're, like we said, we're living in the day and time where we said the planet will no longer be destroyed, excuse me, by water, as in floods, as in the stories prior to, after the so-called covenant was made with Noah after the flood, right? It said they will no longer destroy the planet by water. And the covenant was sealed with the rainbow, right? But it would be destroyed by fire. Now, the fire that we're talking about is the sun, the ball of fire called the sun, which is hydrogen and helium continuously burning. And we're in the sun cycle. The sun cycle is coming with healing in its wings. And there are going to be casualties in terms of, this heat that we're experiencing called the sun cycle. It's going to mean that many people that cannot live under the sun, or that fires are going to be caused by the sun to eradicate and eliminate 6 ether forces on the planet. And so you're going to see this heightening as we bring in more and more of the era known as the Age of Aquarius, or the golden era, or the golden and what we call the sun cycle. So yeah, the fires are for many different purposes. But like you say, yeah, Africa is the new frontier in terms of, the motherland. I hope that helped. That's for you, Ubura. Let's keep going. Ray, how do you deal with police harassing they mess up my vibrations? How do you stay in your high spirits? I know food helps. Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to put Wu-Sabat into your daily life, and be amongst the right people with the right vibration, so that, again, we're talking about mastering yourself, right? Yeah, so that you're rising above, you're not on the radar, right? Because you're doing the things that will help you elevate your mind and everything around you, and then being amongst people who are gonna work together, because it's easy for a bully to pick on someone by themselves. So yes, you do need to raise your vibrations. You need to tune into your higher self. And like you said, your diet and everything helps. when I was saying before about becoming the supreme being, it does take work. You have ancestors within your bloodline, your DNA, that can help you if you align with them. And the alignment takes place within your being, within yourself, to your ancestors that are on the other realms or dimensions that have crossed over, all the way up to the Natharu, who are on the most higher levels, you see. So it's all a part of it. That's why we say I'm in the love of the all, and all love is in me. I'm a part of all, and all is a part of me, you see. So you have to connect yourself within your being, yourself. You have to be on your square or be centered. See, the master teachers refer to as what? A cooked, right? Which means the center. And he's teaching you how to be the center, because he says that you are the center of your universe, because nothing would exist if you didn't exist. Everything revolves around you, but you have to know how to maintain that center, right? And that center is your center as well. The center, the inner being, your solar plexus, your heart seat. These are all the things you need to know about how to be in a position where, like the song goes, we run things and things not run we. You have to be in a position where you're running and governing your universe, governing your own mental, not the government governing your mental. You see, so it's all about you. You have to put in the work. And it's not easy. Nothing worth anything is easy, but you can just chip away every day, just doing a little piece, adding a little piece, silencing those voices that are telling you to do disagreeable things, you know, implementing one thing, like you're going to start exercising, you're going to stop eating this, you're going to stop going here, you're going to stop being around people that gyrate you and bring down your vibration. You know, some people, when you're elevating mentally, they're not also elevating with you. So you guys gonna have clashes when you start to operate from the mind of where you're thinking on a level of vibration and they're not on that. So you're just gonna have clashes. It's the same thing with food. You're changing your diet. You don't want to eat or smell certain food, but somebody else does, and they're not on your vibration. You see, so it's about you gotta find ways of how to stay centered, stay on your square. All right, let's keep going. I want to get through as many questions as I can. Please remember, if you haven't liked yet, press that like button. That helps us, helps with the algorithm. All right. Okay, next question. Is there a certain video you recommend that we should start at on the channel, or just dig in? I would say start with God Numbers and the Universe Explained, because that was like the first video we dropped on OSM Vision as an introduction to who we are, what we teach, who the master teacher is, how we came into Wu-Sabat, myself and Asaru. And we showed, we gave a lot of information and gave you, we were dropping things like there's a difference between Holy Ghost and Holy Spirit, the 9 ether and the 6 ether. We were talking about the difference between spirit and soul. We're talking about so much information that just gives you a solid foundation. And then from that, obviously, there's so many other videos that address people's specific questions. But just tune into the live. Always just lock in on Wu-Sabat live on OSM Vision and just watch everything. There's no like you can't avoid the burn and learn process. What do I mean by that? Like, if there's something you love or you're passionate about, it's like if you're watching, let's say you're watching a series on Netflix or something and you're really into it, one of them series that just grabs your attention, like cliffhanger. You're waiting for what's going to happen next. Me personally, and I know a lot of people are like, I binge watch. I don't want to watch a series for 6 months, like watching it once a week. I just watch the next episode and the next episode and the next episode because I'm interested in like seeing it through to the end. It's the same when you start to study something new. All right. Hold that thought. I'm going to continue. But we have a caller live. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question, please?
Rahubat. My name is Omar Abdullah, and I'm calling from Minnesota, USA. Do you hear me, Sir King?
Rahubat, yeah. It's a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, Zamal.
Okay. Well, I have 2 questions today, Zamal. One question was, what is the plan for Tiamat, which is planet Earth, after judgment? And question number 2 is there any religion or any form of religion in any other planets out there or solar systems?
Okay. All right. Yeah. When you say judgment for the planet, that is down to us, right? The beings on the planet. We deal with fate, Fate, and not faith. This is the difference between Wu-Sabat and religion. Like faith is believing and relying on someone else or something else to come and save you. Right. Whereas fate is we have the ability to change our outcomes because it's based on what we do. So humanity is facing a time where they've got to step up and get rid of these lower vibrations, like the wars and the divisions and all of that's got to go, because if it doesn't, then we're going to allow these 6 ether forces to run rampant on the planet. And because it's their extinction time, removal time, they're doing everything in their power to make sure that they survive. So when you say judgment, the judgment is already taking place, but it's down to us. One of our fate is freeing Pana Babyanun, coming together in love and unity. And if we can do that, then we're changing the course of our destiny. That's what we're working on. And in terms of your second question, no, religion is something that came about by beings coming here and dumbing down and passing themselves off as the gods to these beings that are less intelligent. So no, there isn't what you call religion as such on other planets.
Okay, going back to that first question, so I mean, even when the 144,000 is chosen to be taken away, is this planet? When I meant my judgment is what will happen on this planet, like after the 144,000 is chosen.
Right. So. Right. So that they are to come and help and assist and teach and spread Wu-Sabat. And we those of us that are left, as in those who don't get chosen, we also have a job to do, which is clean up the planet. And that's what this is about. It's not just about just accumulating the knowledge. It's accumulating the knowledge, accumulating the skills, building communities, helping people to heal. And basically we become those, those teachers, like all the other great teachers that came on the planet. And we will be working and helping to basically fix the planet. And 144,000 will be groomed and taught, and they will also come back to help. But in the meantime, we've got work to do. Everyone that has been touched, you cannot unsee or unknow the truth once it's been exposed to you. So everyone has a part to play, and our fate depends on how we come together to do this great work. Does that help?
Okay, so did this So there's no like plans of floods or asteroid hitting this planet again to
Absolutely,
restart
yeah.
over like in the
There
ice.
is. There is, and
Okay.
it's happening right now as we speak. There's an asteroid meteorite on the way to hitting the planet as we speak. And
Yeah, Apophis.
yeah, exactly. So there are floods going on already. You see the tsunamis, you see the earthquakes, you see the fires burning, you see the diseases. It's all happening right now as we speak. And
Okay.
you've
All
got to
right.
basically be in the right place at the right time and be guided by one who knows the way, or else you will be caught up in, like it says, it's like six ether Adamites are being removed, and their minions, and anyone that is being beguiled by them, and they don't know the truth.
Yeah. So you end up on the menu.
That's right. You end up on a menu. You end up as a snack. It's not
Right.
funny,
Right.
but it's funny because we're warning people, but people just, you know it's down to them. All
For
right,
sure. Hey, thank.
you're welcome.
You saying something?
Tour. All right.
Well, yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for getting me covered and shoot to you, Sakim. I appreciate you.
Appreciate love you too, Zamal. All right.
I
Tawakum.
appreciate it.
Wadu. What did I say to hold it? Cool. I was talking about something. Oh yeah, we spoke about the videos already. Okay, life is a blessing. You're welcome. Okay, next question. Food may not help, depends on what food you're eating. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Horse of a Menti. Yeah, we say food all the time, but you're right. It's about what types of food. And we have a selection of healthy herbs, sea moss. We have so much that you can get to have a healthy lifestyle, because what you put into your body is fuel for your body. See, so all right, Jeremiah Youngblood, Rahubat, can you break down the concept of serving two masters and really getting involved in helping spread Wu-Sabat? Yes, thank you. I think that relates to the Sister Monique's question as well. Yeah, serving two masters, like in the Bible, they're talking about you cannot serve two masters. You can't like serve Caesar and then serve what they term God. That's where it kind of came from. But what we're saying is that when you have someone that is like the slave, the whole thing about slavery, you had the slave master who had an agenda to basically enslave you, get you to do free labor, to stop you having certain liberties and freedoms, and all for his benefit. Then you had the slave, and the slave is saying, I want to be free from the slave master. I want my freedom. I want to be able to think for myself and do for myself. But yet the slave master then gives the slave a God or an image of God in his image and likeness. And then the slave master takes on that, which doesn't make sense, because if the slave's God, he's praying to his God to say, help me to get more slaves, to keep them enslaved, to do the work for me. I beat them, I whip them, I do everything to make sure that they serve me. And then he's getting his prayers answered. The slave cannot then call on that same God to say, help me escape. Because obviously, if he's still enslaved, his prayers are not being answered. Now you bring that to today, and you have people that give most of their energy working or doing things for a system that suppresses them, but don't do the same when it comes to a system that will free them and give them that liberation and the ability to do for self and think for self. That's what we're saying. Like, you have Pana Babyanun, and in the Bible, this is referred to as Michael and his angels, right? And they warred against the dragon, which is the draconians, and their angels. So it's a battle taking place between good and bad, or agreeable and disagreeable, or evil against good, right? You can't say I'm serving both, because it doesn't make sense. Like, you have to be on one side or the other. You can't half step, straddling the fence, 1 foot here, 1 foot there. Because if you have 1 foot in one and the other in another section, you're being dragged in 2 different directions. So you're not going anywhere, all right? Unless you're going to get destroyed and split in half. So yes, when it comes to how you're serving 2 masters, you got to give the Adamites back everything and then build and create your own. Because everything you know, everything you see came by way of them naming it. So we're saying Wu-Sabat is the answer to anybody that wants to be liberated, to be free, not subjugated and controlled by 6 ether forces. I hope I've done that justice for you, Jeremiah. Great question. But yeah, it's about time to start coming together, because you have, people will say, you have the, what they call the elites, or they have various names for them, you know, the ones that run and control everything and you know, want to have everything, but then people are suffering. People don't have basic necessities: housing, food, clothing. You know, you see it all the time. So it's like, you can't be led by greed to the point where your small group of people want everything, and then the masses suffer and can't find food to eat and have to go to food banks, and, you know, don't have nowhere to don't have anywhere to live. You have a lot of homeless people, but you have so much space for golf courses and mansions with hundreds of rooms, and no one lives in them, just because you just want to accumulate and accumulate, and there's so much food gets thrown away and wasted, but yet there are people that are starving that can't get anything to eat. So this is what we're saying, like, you've got to basically know which side you want to be on. All right. Claudia Najim. Hi, Master Teacher. Your teaching are awesome. I'm a student teacher. I would love to be a master student. To be a master student means you study hard, and you know, but the master teacher is Panda Babyanun. We're merely his rays of light, as in, he's the sun, the center, and the rays that come from the sun are us. But then we are our own sons, as in being in the image and likeness of the Father, and God creates in his image and likeness. So what he does, we are able to do, and then you should also be able to do, once you turn that light on, that ignition. Remember who you are. You turn that key, and boom, you have the ability to do the works. Like Jesus said, the works that I do, you will be able to do greater. People didn't really understand that, but he's basically saying, if I teach you everything I know, you will be a better person, because you're going to take what I teach you plus what you have already learned yourself, adding to what I give you. You've got a double dose. You're going to do better than me. So with every generation, there should be an improvement. But what we're seeing is a regression. We're seeing people regressing, where every generation they're supposed to be smarter, more united, more together, because they actually have a formula that works. But what we're seeing is that the devil is winning, because the younger generations, they're not listening to the parents. And if the parents or the older generation themselves haven't got themselves to a point where they are now operating on 9 ether, they haven't got anything to pass down or to share. And those who do have something and they pass it down, but the young ones have already been, you know, bitten by the harlot in terms of, you know, the various delicacies that are offered. You know, they're just not interested. And if they don't see the success and the examples and the things that the elders have done to make them feel like they're leaving something for them as a legacy, they're not going to listen to you. They would rather go and road, as they say, and make money, fast money. They'll rather drink, smoke, go to the clubs, social media, all of that will have the music that will have their attention, and they don't want to really listen or do anything if you don't have anything to show. So we, the elders, have to build, and that's what we keep talking about. Stop the talking and let's start walking and building. All right. Wow, we've got so many questions. Let's go. Cover that. Is the real us? Oh, let me just say, yeah, Rahubat, everyone who's joining and saying Rahubat, I'm not ignoring you. I just want to get through the questions. All right. Ras Maroon, Rahubat. Okay, let's go to, is life is a blessing? Is the real us our soul, and our spirit is our connection to the Most High? When he said the Most High, really, that's in the religious term, that's talking about Anu and the being that was being referred to as the Most High. But yet your soul is the real you, and the inner being. But you have different parts to you, and they're all just as important. It's like saying, "Is the real me my heart?" As if your liver and your lung and your brain are not important. And your heart is important because it pumps the blood around, but so is your lungs. And you know, every part plays a part together in one system. But if you didn't have one or the other, you know, you will still, like, you may be able to have one lung and still survive, but you're not firing on all cylinders. So yeah, every part of you, your body, your physical, your spirit, your soul, your etheric being, your oversoul, your soul, all of them work together in tandem to basically take you to the higher realm. Each one has levels of attainment or vibration. That's a good question as well, because some people say they get so spiritual that they're imbalanced, where they don't deal with the physical anymore, in the sense of, it doesn't make sense. You cannot let go of yourself, your hygiene and your ability to like help people and be mindful, because you become so called righteous, you know, that you look down on everyone and you just think that you're better than everyone, you know, because you still have to humble yourself to people. Like, you still have to be able to relate to other people. So you can't be on your high horse thinking like all you do all day is just meditate and leave the whole place dirty and nasty. You know, it's like you can't have one without the other. It says cleanliness is next to godliness. So you can't be a god and then be dirty and nasty. Like, you're contradicting yourself. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not really attacking anyone in particular. Let's keep going. The Levite, okay, that was the Statue of Liberty holding the flame. Yeah, that's right. Sakam Sanan Mantu Hatat Tawat Zaman, the Olympic torch. Yeah, we're talking about the whole, and we have a scroll called the God and Light and Fire, I think, something like that. I don't have it right here, but if we can pull it up, we'll pull it up. But yeah, so you start to look at, like I touched on this about, the Abrahamic religions, no coincidence that Abraham was from a place called Ur of Chaldea. Ur is dealing with that fire. That's the destructive fire. That's why, as you said, the Olympic torch, it's the cycle that they run, and the Olympics, everything you look at that is the worship of fire and Lucifer. Yeah? You see the people that wear the ring, which ties into Saturn. No coincidence, Saturn ties into Satan, ties into Santa. It's a whole like system of things that keep you giving your energies and worshiping this being, the fire, the light bearer. In fact, let me just touch on it, on the Luciferian conspiracy. It explains, and for those who know, if you go and read, I'm gonna find the quote for you. If you read, there you go. If you read, I'm trying to find the quote, but in this book, I mentioned about, it talks about Lucifer being the light bearer, and this who is this? Isaiah. Oh, here you go. I think it's Isaiah 14. Wow, it's out of time already. Here you go. Yeah, if you go to Exodus 3:2, 13, 21, it talks about the fire, yeah? Because like I said, by that time they were just dealing with fire and not light, in the sense of there are different colors of light. Like the green light is a healing light, deals with light and not fire, yeah? But if we read Deuteronomy 4:12, so it says, the God of the Bible and the present day Quran being called the light of the world, light of the heaven and the earth. That's Quran 24:35. Allah's light, Quran 9:32. Light as knowledge, illumination, Illuminati. Light is good, light is intellect. White is light, white is pure, white is holy, etc. are all deceptions to lead the mind, body and soul on a path to submission totally to the will of fire. The Quran of the Muslims uses the Arabic word nar, right? N-A-R, for fire. Quran 2:24. And nur, right? N-U-R, for light. Quran 6:1. Both having the same root, N-R, right? As the Torah of the Jews uses literally the same word, ish, right? For the fire. Deuteronomy 4:24. And Ur, this is what I was saying, Ur of Chaldea, for light, in Genesis 1:3. The New Testament of the Christian uses force, for say, for light, Revelation 22:5, and pour, P-U-R, for fire, Revelations 21:8. You can see the word Ur hidden in Nur, pour, and Ur, all three supposedly holy texts, and the true origin of the word holy in Greek is hagios, right? Borrowed from the Greek word Helios, for the sun, all from Egyptian city Anu or On, called by the Greeks Heliopolis, right? So what they've done is they've taken that light and then it's turned into, that's the quote I was looking for, Isaiah 14:2. It's turned into worshipping Lucifer, because it says that the torch or none other than Lucifer, as found in Isaiah 14:12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, right? So this same torch is used by the Illuminati societies today under the leadership of Albert Pike, who pledged allegiance to a sacred society called Luciferian that literally predates the Christian Bible. You know, so it goes into a lot of detail about what my brother Sakam is saying, Sakam Sanan Mantu is saying here about the Olympic torch and the different lights, all right? The Statue of Liberty holding the light, Superman holding the light, and the pose that he flies in. All of these things, and you look at Superman's chest, It's got the S, which relates to the serpent people, dealing with, reptilians. And the S is also a Z, tying into the, as I said before, zombies, Zeta. Okay, let's keep going. Is it true that the story has already been written and or the future has already been decided? If this is true, does that mean that choice is an illusion? No, because even though, that's a good question, because even though you can traverse or go back and forth, you have to remember that we're writing our story now. So we have the ability to change the story. So even though you're looking at cycles, you're also looking at continuums, meaning that each time a cycle begins, it's not like, how can I explain it? It's more like a spiral, even though it's a cycle, but each time you can restart. Like now we're starting a new cycle of 24,000 years where we write our story. It's almost like, have you ever seen, okay, it's like you film, let's say you make a film. Before you could, you would just make the film starts, the credits come up, the story's told, the film ends. But with technology now, interactive, in games and so on, you can change the story. So have you ever seen movies where they give you the opportunity to change the ending or the outcome? And you can decide that. It's like we are able to do that. So depending on what we do, if we do the things we're supposed to do, then yes, we are following that script. But if we deviate or change it, we change the outcome. There's a movie called Adjustment Bureau, right? If you haven't seen that before, it's quite an old movie, but great movie that will really explain that question, and how, it gives you the answer in a very visual sense. But yeah, we are writing our story as we go along, and we have the ability to change the outcome. And this is why religion actually plays on that, knowing that if you don't do anything, because the problem is the masses don't do anything. They've been given a story, and the beings that know how to affect reality or to change the outcomes, they tell you, you don't have to do anything. Just follow the choices we give you, right? What we say is what you do. Wait, and somebody's going to come and save you. Meanwhile, they take advantage of knowing that you create your reality. You see, so they do it for you and they control everything, because basically if you don't do anything, then you only eat what is available for you to eat by going to the supermarkets. You don't think, I have my own land, I can grow my own food. You just rely on those supermarkets. And what happens if one day they say, supermarkets are shut, no food, and your food in your cupboards runs out? So you put yourself in a position where you can't do anything about it. And that's just one simple little example. It's the same with your health. Like, take this pill, take that. Everything that is laid out for you, you just do without researching, questioning. So yeah, it would appear that way in terms of everything is set, but not if you wake up. And if the masses woke up and changed the reality, they would be able to. Remember, we, the people, vote the people into government. So it shouldn't be that they should be serving you and you not serving them, in other words. So yeah, we can definitely change our reality by way of our choices. And the problem is you're not making choices, but you've been given the illusion that you are. Like, what do I mean by that? Multiple choice is not a choice, because whoever gives you the multiple choice knows you're going to choose one of those choices. And this is the illusion that a lot of people are under with the distortion. So you go into like I said, you go into a supermarket or into a store, and someone has laid out the choices of what you can choose from. It might be 5 different types of fruits or 5 pairs of shoes. You look at one, put it down, you look at the other one, and you say, I choose this one. But you didn't. You chose what somebody else has already chosen for you. I don't know if you're getting that, but that's the level of mind thinking that we do in Wu-Sabat by way of what we've been taught by the master teacher to use our own brain. And this is what they fear. I'm trying to remember the names, what people call them, but they basically don't want you to make decisions. Everything is going to be made for you. And then you become sheeple, like sheep. You just follow blindly, the blind leading the blind. All right, let's get through some more questions. What does the word wadu mean? Because in my tribe, we say wadu, and it's a way of greeting or appreciating someone. Yeah, in wadu, oh gosh, I missed a couple of questions. And I missed one question. Let me do that one because it's quick. Wadu in our language is saying, for lack of a better word, because you can't always have an equivalent in English, but it's like saying bye. Just like when we say rahubat. It's not hello, but it's a greeting. We're saying greetings. So wadu is like that. And you will find tones of misbatia in other languages because it being the root language, words are borrowed or tones are borrowed into other languages. You see, so there will be some words that you hear that will sound the same. But yeah, it kind of, from what you're saying, it kind of relates in the sense of appreciating someone, even though you said greeting or appreciating someone. All right, let me go back to that question, Paulo, I missed. My question is, how can the society where our master teacher comes from be described? I mean, do they have stupid things called money? The concept of family exists. Do they live? Please elaborate. Yeah, and that kind of ties into what I wanted to say before. Right, that's it. When I was talking about aliens and I said put a pin on it and I came back, I couldn't remember what I was going to say. It was to say that the people that get abducted, some people, I don't know if there's a movie I saw that was so amazing the other day where it was talking about showing you someone that was supposedly being put under, you know, when you're being operated on in the hospital, where they, what's the word? When they put you to sleep. Anesthesia, yeah. And for some people, it didn't work. So they thought the person was asleep, but they were still awake. And they actually felt all the pain and everything when they're being cut and so forth. There is a term, I can't remember what the term is, where some people don't fall asleep or they're still awake when they're being abducted, when these extraterrestrials try to, you know, like the Men in Black, where they try to make you forget everything. And so some of them actually see the aliens and they remember, they store the images and they draw them afterwards when they do hypnotic regression or they go through like dealing with the trauma of the experience. So many people have been abducted and have seen these extraterrestrials and have drawn them. And this is why all across the world, different races, different people from different backgrounds draw the same picture. So going to how it relates to this question, when you're saying where the master teacher comes from, Planet Risk, he's from there, so he knows how it looks. And, you know, people travel and go to different realms and like astral project and certain things, but not everybody goes to the same places. But the master teacher has given us description of the beings from Planet Risk, and they don't have the same systems as we do. They're so much more intelligent, and some of the beings on Risk have elevated to the point where the things that we suffer on the physical, they've overcome. So they don't have sickness. They don't need a physical body, you know, because they can transcend the different realms and different, they can basically manipulate their molecular structure. They can they can do so much that to us seems like very advanced, because we haven't reached that stage where we're using the full capacity of our brains. We're able to transcend dimensions and realms and manipulate our, like I said, the molecular structure, our atoms, and so on and so at will, where they can do all of these things. So the things that we do, like food, you don't need food in that way on certain levels or vibrations. You just need the energy or the source that sustains you in that environment. Do they have stupid things called money? No, they have no need for money. Money is a construct that is used to control people here, because money doesn't keep you, like you can have £1 billion and when you're ready to cross over, you can't take it with you. It has no use where you're going. You see, it's only here where we are caught up in materialism and people, places and things and greed and jealousies and I want to have more than everyone else. That's where all of that comes in. Yeah. But yeah, family does exist, but not in the same way that you look at it. They look at it as union with all, or one in vibration, and looking at things on a much grander scale. Like, how do we maintain harmony and order in the multiverses? You know, so great question, but we need to learn more about of risk, but we'll need the master teacher out, and then we can get more information. Some of us have actually been there in terms of vibrations, visions, traveling outside of ourselves, and can also share some of our experiences. What does the word, I covered already. How can I clean my heart seat and align my, right. That comes with, when we say heart seat, we're talking about a shook, divine love, unconditional love. And you do that by your actions predominantly. It's not like, that's what I was also going to say. When you elevate and you start to be your real being, you start to do things like telepathy, mind-to-mind communication, reading people's minds. You can do clairvoyance, the ability to see beings and dimensions and other entities around you. Psychometry, the ability to just read and touch things. You hear people that say they're empath. You can walk into a room and you can feel vibrations and hear people's thoughts. A lot of the times when you say this to someone, they'll say, oh, you're crazy or you're mad, because people haven't learned to have these abilities. And those of us who have or do, people, even though you can hear their mind or read their thoughts, they will still say, no, it's not true, and hide and lie. But then this is what the first question we received today was about: how do you get your barathri gland? But the thing is, that comes with, imagine you can hear everyone's thoughts, everyone's voices. They show you this in even like Superman, who has the ability to do that. And it can drive you nuts and crazy if you don't have the mechanism to control it, to know which channels to allow. It's like, imagine your phone can take, someone can ring you, you answer the phone, right? It's only one person. And sometimes you might be able to have a 3-way call, where it's you, someone, and someone else. But imagine there was 1 million people on the line. There's another movie, How Men Think, or something like that, where there's a couple of movies where someone bumps their head or whatever, and then now they have the ability to hear people's voices. And you hear people that you think love and really like or respect you, they'll be hugging you and saying something in their mind like, I can't stand this person, right? But you're hearing it now. And imagine the people around you who you think are bona fide, tight, but yet they're plotting, they don't like you. So the ability to have these powers comes with the other side too, you see. So don't be in a hurry and rush into have these powers when you don't have control over them. People say they want to fly, but imagine you just start flying, but you can't stop yourself or control yourself. and you don't know how to get back down. So the initial thought sounds nice, I like to fly, but it comes with control. How fast can you go? You see, so these are all things to take into consideration when you're saying you want to be the elite. To be the elite, in the way we use the word elite, to be a supreme being, is to be able to solve problems. And going back to your question of ashuk, or love, show that love unconditionally to everyone, everything, which is it's not an easy task, you know. You have to be able to extend that love and help everyone, the homeless, the sick, heal the sick. People are sick mentally, you know, you gotta help them too. So it comes with a lot when you say ashuk. So it's the practice and putting that ashuk into action. But ashuk doesn't mean to be a walkover or a doormat where people take advantage of you, or because you're showing that love and kindness that they think that means you should just, you know what I mean, put up with anything. No, you can also exercise your will to say, look, I'm gonna love you from a distance, or I'm not gonna let you walk all over me just because you think, you know, I'm a kind or caring being. Right, where are we? We're almost running out of time already. Okay, we covered that. How can I clean my heart? You start by putting into practice, changing your diet, your mindfulness. There's so much to it, but it's the first seat, because if you do something without ashuk, the master says it in the Partarak, the three loves, that it would be as if you shouldn't have done it at all. It's like it doesn't mean anything if you're not doing it sincerely and from the heart. And who's going to be the judge? The same beings. They can look at you and see your matrix and look at your vibration, your aura, what your seats are vibrating at, which ones are activated, which ones are not, and which ones are dominating. So you go be yourself and be real with it, and let Wu-Sabat help you. All right. Where are we? Okay. Whenever I try to educate people around me, the knowledge keep on coming out without me even thinking about what to say. And that's again showing you that you're tapping into the inner being, and you become the vessel. You'll be utilized. And that's why all you have to do sometimes is just open your mouth and speak, and the words will come through you, because the elders, they know how to utilize you as a vessel in certain situations. If you are truly, teaching Wu-Sabat from the heart, how do you think we've been able to reach so many people? Because it has an effect. It's like we're doing this sincerely, teaching truth. And the Natharu, they want the truth out. So they will work with those who want to teach the truth to get it out to the masses, because that's the change that we need. You see, so you have to plug in to the source, and it will come through you. The electricity will run through you once you plug into the power source. Power source, Parnabab Yanun. All right. Where are we? Okay, looks like we've got 4 minutes left. Today's lesson is very educated, I guess. That's why the live crashed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes they can't handle too much truth. Let's keep going. I'm enjoying today's live. Thank you. If there is a catastrophe on the planet where the sun does not shine, what should we eat? Well, it depends on how far you've elevated, how you've prepared. And a lot of people have been preparing and stacking food. And it all comes down to control. Most people overeat anyway. your stomach is about that big, about as big as your fist, and you've just been trained to overeat. If it comes to survival, you can literally, you can, for those who fast, they know this, like you can go without food for days, and you can eat a few nuts, drink some juice, water, and you're good. We have one last caller for the day, live caller. One second, we're just trying to hook you up. Rahubat. All right, we're trying to just stay on the line. We'll sort it out. Okay, go ahead. We can hear you better now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
A little bit better. Can you hear me?
Clearly, Rahubat.
Yeah, respect my brother. I'm not live, am I?
You are live.
Am I live?
Yes.
Is this Sakam?
Tua, I am. Anuki.
Brother Sakam, I sent you a message earlier on to ask you if there was a catastrophe on the planet, what should we eat? And someone put in the chat, if there is no sun, there's no life. How factual is it?
Well, there is no particular type of life form, meaning that there are beings underwater that survive without the sun. So it depends on what we're calling life. But like if you the echo, I think you're echoing back is making it difficult to. You have to turn the
Hold on. Let me see.
The other YouTube stream
I
down.
hear you. I cannot hear you. But if you speak what it is you're speaking, I'm gonna have to listen off air.
Okay.
I can actually hear you through the phone. But I mean, I was totally ignored, and I find that kind of disrespectful. That's why I've called in.
Can't really hear you. Well, you're told to what? Sorry.
No, I said I posted the question.
Yeah, I saw the question.
Yeah, but you didn't read it out. You asked people to call
No, I
in.
did read it out. You probably didn't catch it. I did read it out.
Well, I've been listening. I don't know, but
I'll go through it again. But you were saying about I'll read it again. How would you survive if there was a catastrophe and there was no sun?
Listen, my brother, listen, it's nothing but love and respect. I mean, I just hope you guys just continue doing what you're doing, and I would always try my best to support you, but I didn't actually hear you read out the question, okay?
All right, I'll read it again. It's Vincent, right?
That's correct, brother.
Right, I'll read it again. But we do, because we record these live, when you watch it back, you will see that, yeah, we're going to have to hang up because the line's terrible. I'll carry on though, you can hear on the live. You will see that I did say it and I will do it again. You can just rewind it and watch. It says, if there is a catastrophe on the planet where the sun does not shine, what should we eat? All right, that was the question. So I was saying that, in fact, I was answering it when you called. I was saying that many people have been preparing for such an event. And this event took place before. And those who knew what to do were guided by masters like how we have the master teacher with us now. There are crafts that are waiting to pick people up. And in the biblical stories, they tell you this in the story of Noah, but they tell you that Noah was preparing a craft called an ark where he was storing two of everything. But they don't explain it properly because they don't tell you that this is dealing with an extraterrestrial craft or dealing with the fact that he was collecting genetics in terms of DNA, not going across the world from one place to the other to get two animals of each species, which is an impossible thing because certain species only inhabit on certain parts of the planet. And the ark would have to be so big to take everything. So what they were doing was preparing so that the craft will be lifted above the waters when certain parts were being drowned. It's the same principle today. there are many crafts that are above and under the earth and in the waters, and there are caverns and places that you can be led to where you can live and survive, where there is another sun in the center of the planet. There is another sun. There is a subterranean world. So if you know what to do, if the outer sun, the surface, is not in a place where you can breathe. So for example, if there was an atomic bomb, like we were saying when they were dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, 1945, during the wars, that meant that people couldn't come out on the surface because you deal with radiation. So there are places, bunkers and places that people have prepared where they can survive until that time comes when they can come back out. You know, there are many different atmospheres that people can survive in. So what I'm saying to you is that when we talk about life form, we only think about life form that depends on the sun, but there are beings in the depths of the waters. Even when ice, when you're dealing with the ice age and when things are frozen, things survive in ice. Just like when you have a fridge, you know, you store things in the freezer, sorry, and they will survive for you to be able to still eat them at a certain time because they're being preserved. And this is what happened. There were bacteria and certain things that were preserved in the ice that don't need the sun to survive, or in the deep waters. But what I'm saying is, if you know about crafts and beings preparing to lift people up, then that's something that can be resolved quite easily by those who know and who can be picked up. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. And for those who didn't get your questions answered, please join the Telegram group, ask your questions in there, and we'll get to them, or come back next week, same time, same place, and ask your question. And before we leave, just want to let you know all these scrolls that you see me referencing are available on the website, nashat.co.uk, as well as the support that we need for the 100 project. Ask about it. You have to take the steps to come closer. If you send an email or make an order or something and you don't get it, or something happens, we may not be aware of it. So you have to contact us. You have to let us know. You have contact numbers, email addresses, Telegram group. You have emails that you can reach us. So don't let yourself just kind of like, you know what I mean, just feel like no one cares. We care. We really do care. We care about everyone who supports us. So we want to say Tawakum. Thank you all. Until next time, same place, same time, OSM Vision, because our souls matter. Free Dr. York. Wadu.